So welcome to all the possibly a dozen people who have been waiting for this episode. We were going to do the nitrogen superhighway in 2 episodes, but there was some creeping elegance. I discovered asphalt that looked a lot better than the concrete I had, and so we're going to keep working on it. But first, I'll show you what's at stake here. We have over here a group of these golden nut statues. Each one of these is 1,000 coupons, so incredibly expensive. But there's no high score after you win the game, so our goal is to buy a ridiculous number of these with a rather large base. And you can see down here is the nitrogen superhighway. One second, technical difficulties there. Is the nitrogen superhighway that goes all the way out. The direction to the north here, this is all working. And I don't know where the trucks are, but there should be one out in there somewhere. Probably down at the base and maybe hiding under here. The station has kind of gotten buried. It is right down. Right down there, right? So trucks come in, come around here, go back out. But we don't have them connected yet up to the southern refinery, which is over here. We have some of the road built, and just to show you the type of thing that is distracting me is, for instance, our trucks could fall off the rail. Now, they've got set paths, so really could they fall off the rail? No. But it would look better if it had lines there, right? So we're going to work on that. I forget exactly where we were at. I spent some more time working on getting our production back up and running since the last episode. But I believe we have a station over here. Yeah, see if we go right there. There's the nitrogen refinery truck station there. So moving along here. Right. So our superhighway goes all the way over here, around this corner, down some more, and then it's going to kind of, things are slowly getting buried in this base. There's sort of some archaeological stuff at the bottom, and then building out gets really long, and also just for organization, we're building up. So here is the refinery one. See how this guy is doing. Vehicle station data, nothing, no fuel. I think that's fine, actually. No nitrogen, that's a problem. So let's see here. Yeah, I think it's just sitting here. Yeah. I got to the point where it's set up and the road went all the way here, but we don't have any of the actual infrastructure. So let's go over here. I believe this is the old style nitrogen down here. Nope, that's fuel. Where'd nitrogen go? There's, right, see, so the current inefficient way is to put it in bottles, send it on, send it on freight. I think this is the, is this the empty bottle return? Nope, there's packaged nitrogen gas going out. Here's empty bottles coming back. Actually, that's empty bottles going out as well. Is this nitrogen coming back? It's nitrogen coming. Anyway, that's all going away. Because it's confusing and all these, I end up sending some of the empty fluid tanks into the recycler just because it's tough to keep them balanced between 3 different bases, having them going back and forth on trains, right? So if we look through here and find where this nitrogen is actually coming from, oh, that's turbo fuel. Right, here's nitrogen gas getting populated. We don't use power shards anymore. Just quick get rid of those. Oh, that's unpackaging. We do have a nitrogen line. Where did that nitrogen line go? Because I know, if we look way out here, there's nitrogen getting, right. There's nitrogen out there that's coming in. We just want to balance it out between the bases. So let me go find my nitrogen line so we can just trace through all these lines. Go up the map. We headed basically in the right direction. No, not really. It's more this way. Are you there? No, that's a train. Okay, come on. Where is nitrogen? Right, it's right out there. This is probably coming in on, oh, right, it's coming in on all these pipes. So one other thing I do, and I don't know how far we'll go back because this will get boring, but I actually color code my pipes these days. Makes it so much easier to track things, right? Because as you can see, as you can see right there, I'm unfortunately easily confused. Turn the lights on. I do have electricity running just about everywhere, which you can see from the zaps periodically, which is really nice because then you can just not have to worry about the creatures. You can just use your hover pack to go up on top. Oh, and I totally forgot to mention, new on this episode is a picture of a human right here. So you can tell this isn't an AI playing a video game. I don't know if they can do that yet, but once AIs start playing video games, we're all in trouble. So we'll go, and I'm using unpainted for nitrogen, just because it seems kind of, I don't know, what's the word for it? Kind of as a generic kind of raw material, industrially type stuff. So do this. And I told you painting was boring. I warned you about that. So if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to skip ahead. I will actually manage to trace all these pipes down and paint them all the way over to that refinery base. There's one. Right, so we've got 3 total. I think this ends up being, what is it? It's 600, 1200, 1500 that comes from there. So I don't know that we're using it all yet, which is one of the reasons if we send the excess to the main base, we can use it to produce some of the, there's the cooling units that really need the nitrogen raw materials to produce. I do produce some of the cooling units down in the refinery. I am trying to slowly move production out of the main base. Since the main base is so huge, it gets tough to keep track of. And then there's just the infrastructure costs of getting all the raw materials to the main base, right? If we look around, main base is up here. Yep, there's my nitrogen trucks coming through. But then here's all the other trains that are waiting for various stations too, right? So that eventually becomes a bottleneck eventually, as far as game time is concerned, pretty quickly right now. So we'll get all this stuff all painted. So far I'm doing a pretty good job of not painting other things that are underneath or around what I'm trying to paint. Luckily this is pretty much in the complete open. See, there's more color coding. Originally, I just tried to put layout out, and I'm coming around back and doing color coding. In a lot of cases, as I get confused, I start color coding things. And I just leave things at defaults if I haven't gotten confused yet. So I'm actually going to focus on one pipe for a second. Okay. See, the two, we've got extra production here, right? So we've got two pipes that basically go nowhere, other than this one, which is, I think, going off to cooling unit production, probably. Sure looks like it. Yeah. See, that one's doing cooling systems, and that's got some of the nitrogen, but still way excess nitrogen. And so we're just doing one for now. Is this nitrogen or is that something else? Oh, that's oil. And did I really coat this? Let me check if I'm using the right color. Unpainted. Okay, so in this light and shadows, unpainted and black look a lot alike. Slightly unfortunate. And of course we're near the coast, so it's raining. You know, when they added raining to the game, I thought it was going to be a novelty for about 5 minutes. Now just as a miscellaneous little touch, I really like it, actually. Right, so there's actually nitric acid production that also uses nitrogen. And do I have that pipe completely right up here? Yeah. There's a fairly decent nitrogen, nitric acid production over there. Get rid of a couple conveyor supports that make no sense anymore. And where does this, I would suspect, is the line we're looking for? Right. That's packaging right there. So turbo fuel's right next to packaging. Got it. That's the original nitric acid. Right. So we really don't want that packaging station there, because I swear I built the train station somewhere nearby to be convenient. Yep, there it is up there. So really don't want to get rid of nitrogen packing yet until everything else is up and running. But we can just run the excess over here, and once the trucks are up and running smoothly, then we can go ahead and eliminate the old stuff, right? So our pipe is going to run up here, and it's going to run into the truck there. Do a little painting on the way back. Yep. And we've got a fairly tiny amount of flow for the excess, but that'll allow us to work for now. I'm going to paint that color too. Now we've got an exceedingly tiny amount of nitrogen gas. And we don't really have to worry about fuel. The central base, I believe, is the one that loads the trucks, but as long as the trucks get loaded somewhere along the way and have enough fuel to make the route, everything's hunky-dory, right? Yeah, I'm gonna run a second line there, I think, because there's so little spare nitrogen here. I forgot I did a lot of expanding with the nitric acid production. So running back under here, we have that entire pipe that we haven't done anything with yet. There it is. And so this is going to run right across next to this, just for the sake of organization. And through there. And you can tell some of this is min-maxing because the layout's not great. I thought of making a stream where we go make things all pretty colors. Some people might really enjoy that, and I don't know. But it also might be really boring just to paint huge amounts of things, so I haven't really decided on that one. But where did our nitrogen go that we were working on? Our train station's up. No, this one we might as well run direct to the train station. So, not train station, truck station. So trucks over here. Gonna come down. We want to get to here. Sometimes it's actually really nice just to way over lengthen the pipe because this end here is going to naturally point back into the direction of where the pipe needs to come from. So it's over here. And so that's where it's coming from there. Oh, I see. And this pipe is coming up over here because it's going into that facility and then over this way. So this one, I'm just going to attach the edge here, right? Where's it coming from? Down below? Yeah, right. We're just going to go like this. And it's going to round the corner and go next to the other one. How do I fit it so it's really near that one without being on top of the other one? Right about there for now. And then we can pretty much follow this for a while. If we build similar pipes either next to or on top of each other, they, of course, are much more easy to keep track of. And I think I already, at the start of the stream, introduced how important it is to be able to keep track of these by being completely confused after coming back to the game. After not that long, I think I streamed this less than 2 weeks ago. And now we're in the waiting for Starship to launch in about 5 hours. So this is how we're killing time while we wait for that to get going. It's good weather. It probably should launch. It's Friday, July 24. If you don't want to look at the date of the recording for that. Hopefully it goes off today, and hopefully it goes off well. So far, Starship V3 looks a lot better than Starship V2, so hopefully that trend continues. Would be nice to see the thing actually go into orbit. Because until then, it's not really making that many signs of being useful. It's just being an incredible engineering feat for the sake of being an incredible engineering feat. Right? Really, nothing against it, but what is it really actually doing right now? As opposed to Falcon 9, which is launching things constantly. And Blue Origin would be, in the same, hopefully was going to be in the list of launching things regularly, but is also in the list of until they get it working, it's really not doing much for us. So now, this is filling reasonably quickly. Unfortunately, you know, train stations you can actually switch to the train view to manage all the trains. Truck stations, they either don't do that or they haven't yet. I think on the map we can actually find them. Yep, nitrogen truck 1, 2, 3. Oh, what these tractors are. Oh, those are just miscellaneous tractors I left around while I was exploring. Other than this one, can we rename him from here? No, I can't. See, that's what I mean. I'd love to be able to actually modify those right from here. I think the only way, unless someone knows better in chat, is to just go find them, which is what we're going to have to do. I'm just going to quick check chat to see if there's anything interesting in there. There's that. And where's the other thing? Alright, so that's the other thing. And there's that thing, which isn't doing much. Got it. Now, this is stream 3 ever. So, both impressive and bear with me. Docs. Chat. There it is. I ran the risk of ignoring chat. But luckily that risk has been averted. There we go. And we'll quick type something. Hi. Okay. And now that I finished the itch, we are back off to playing. And unlike former episodes, where you can hear me cough once or twice, I now have a mute button, rather than having to go find the system mute or the mic mute or all that sort of thing. For easy access before I cough. I'm sure you're all incredibly impressed by the progress that my streaming has made. I don't think there is actually train routes that run out here yet. That, by the way, is a long stairway up, just as most of the time I'm floating around here. But if the entire base loses power, then I need a way to walk up and get things going again. This base is actually set up with circuitry that the entire base can lose power. And then there's a couple coral generators that can then start the fuel generators that can then generate enough electricity to get the trains going and get the nuclear generators up and running. There's a huge nuclear complex in and behind that mountain over there. And once the nuclear generators are up and running, it can make advanced power module units, which are down over in that area somewhere, which then ends up being, they maybe triple. We can go find a power pole and see exactly what the breakdown is here. Right. So the total production is 316 megawatts. The power boost is 203 out of that 316. So like 60% of our energy is actually just boosted power. Right around, I think it's 100 gigawatt or whatever, they end up paying for themselves. Before that, APMs are really a trap because of the number of singularity modules you have to do to create them. Right, that makes them pretty inefficient. And also, if I go Q here and I'm going to find some transport, Vehicle paths. Ah, I do have a path that goes. Oh, I think I have a path up here, but it doesn't come back. Right? Yeah, which is why there's no trucks assigned to it. That's the biggest thing. Now I'm remembering what I really need to do. And also one of the delays is making those nice rounded ramps on the edge, etc. The huge red building hides the Christmas tree production, because I'm not going to need Christmas tree production. Oh, look at that. It's the 24th, so 5 months is the end of Advent. So a little over 4 months and that factory will reopen. Oh, and while I'm at it, this is the cosmetic stuff that I got distracted by before, that I'm going to get distracted by again. I need an inverted 1 meter ramp, which I can just, stick there, and 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 there. And there's not a ton of power available under here, because why would I be under here much? So you may occasionally see us drop like a rock. Don't worry, there's power down there somewhere. Yeah, like there. But now, oh look, I'm looking right through my body. The decline looks a whole lot better, right? So we'll run over here, we'll see if there's any others. Yep, there's an incline that needs a little work. Ooh. And I forgot, the other stuff needs to be the right color too. Unless, did I put the, yeah, well, it's defaulting to asphalt, so we're okay. So under there, catch this, there. Why is that rotating funny? There. Much better there. I'm sure this is riveting entertainment, but it gets better, I promise you. Right. Oh, I thought that might not be asphalt, but it's just the lighting is so much better. And this does become a problem here, the way I built it, because there's no 3 meter ramp, right? So 2 looks funny one direction and 4 looks funny. Well, I guess we can go 4 and then 2 equals, no, 4 and 2 doesn't equal 5. Oh, but it's snapping right there, which is beautiful. So 1 there, 1 there, 1 here, 1 there. One there. Switch to the short ones. I find making hotkeys horribly boring, so I use very little of them. Same thing with templates, actually. Could probably do some of this a lot faster if I spent time actually doing that investment, but I've gotten so used to doing this just with the mouse. There's one, there's another. I can actually drag these two if I get brave. Oh, right. Zoop mode, please. Cool. And then over here, it's pretty stable. Yeah, and there's a couple parts of our road that are on fire, but we're going to deal with that later. Oh, actually more than a couple parts. We're still going to deal with it later. Okay, switch to 4. Right. See, now I could actually drag, but see, this is the problem here. Don't think this is going to snap quite right. Yeah, see. So we're just going to use the 1s a second. Oh, want it that way. Oh, right. Okay, so what we really need is a 1 level flat. I'm going to switch these to, just want the asphalt patterns. There, and then I can use a 2 or a 4. That is a really thin part of a highway running into a really thick part of a highway, which I'm not also, see how I get distracted by all this stuff when I could be actually building infrastructure? These are the perils of playing this game. So there. If I put 2, can I actually make this less severe pretty soon? Oh, not even the right type of ramp. Not really. Continuing on, trying not to be distracted. Ah, okay, now I need the inverted 1s again. I could use mouse wheel on this too. Because, oopsie, that's wrong. Oh, I don't need 1s, I need 4s probably, still, yeah. Boy, this specific spot did not turn out really well, and it's going to need some work later. But that goes there, and then we just need another one of these, and I think we're all set. So it doesn't look jagged or anything like that. It's just kind of awful wide, awful narrow, awful wide. And probably make these just thicker, and that'll make it look all better. Either that or fix the geometry of this stuff. But going back to our truck route, the one thing I noticed when I first started doing this is universal paths actually don't turn that sharp. So that's why we have this large area here. And I see, okay, so here's where I stopped with the path. So we want to go up here, and we want to make the vehicles go around the path. And basically I'm doing, what is it? These are 10 meters, so 10 meter each way. Did I not hit the center of that? Maybe not quite. That looks a little better. So for a while this is going to be easy, and then we're going to get to the parts where I didn't actually make the ramp wide enough yet, which I have a feeling that is one of right there. So can we make it up and around this turn without getting all sorts of errors of clipping and too steep and colliding and all that sort of thing? Okay, so we can't. And sometimes actually it works better. Oh, except for, see, unlike trains, you can't build these things in the reverse direction. Which actually, trains and conveyors, it's actually sometimes easier to make them connect if you build them in reverse. But if I go like that, it seems to like hitting the corner. These routes are a little twitchy, but they do, right around here it should like it. I just saw it liking it. There it is, right there. Like that. And is this going to allow us to go? It turns too sharply. There, yes. Right, and then we can come and swing out a little bit. And then that corner, see, it turns yellow because that corner is ugly, but still manageable. I'm going to add a tiny little bit to it. There's certain pieces I'd love to have that that they just don't make. Like half white inclines is the one thing that would be on my wish list right now. Inverted corner up, will that work? No, because it's down there. So how about normal corner up? Up corner 1 meter. And if I put it there and spin it around. Why does that not seem like up to me? Oh, this is a 4 meter. See what happens if I do that. Right, it's a corner growing up, but it ends up being way below that. Yeah. I could actually have another up corner over here if I manage to spin it around right and get it to lock correctly. Right, and little tricks sometimes, if it's being fidgety, you can just build foundations for it to snap to. So there's a temporary foundation that we're going to snap to. Right, which makes it easy to do things like this. Oh, that might not actually be bad. If I can aim at this thing again, there we go. Almost there, almost there, almost there, almost there. Then, I don't know, we can kind of put a corner here for now. And oops. And that all looks absolutely horrible. So I think I'm just going to put a little half piece in here to kind of make it look, well, maybe if we just have a little, not inverted, but normal corner up there. And then a corner down below it. inverted. I want a normal corner down. Or I guess that means corner up. No. There's the piece I was looking for, right? Because that makes a fairly smooth surface there. Now we just got to make sure it's not blocky, too blocky underneath. Use an inverted ramp there to fit next door. And that makes that not so bad. I mean, we can do that, but then it ends up being, you just get in this mess of this recurring, make one thing better and then you got to make another thing better, another thing better. Yeah, even that doesn't do a real good job. Oh, except that looks ridiculous. So that looks better. See how I was saying I get distracted? And I guess that's on the underside, so it doesn't matter too much. And we've got this little extra blocky corner, but that looks all right. We can actually, there's some tricks to actually mess around with that a little bit, but then that's getting really, really overly done. Especially if we actually put in pieces like this, maybe, I don't know. Back to actually doing the route. Here we go. Now this is starting to work out much better. With the traffic right there. Why are you yellow? Must get it just a tiny bit too close to that edge. Oh well. I don't want to go slightly over it. That's one thing I have noticed is it's best if you end the paths kind of right on the seams, so it's not trying to calculate things going, turns and stuff like that going across seams. So we're going to go right to here, and here go down to here, and where are you going to be happy? Right about there. Yeah. Doesn't quite like it, but that's fine. Back to this little uptick here, and here's where we're going to have to probably put in a little bit of a corner to make it not look horrible. But there we got that, and these corners are actually easier, I think. Hope. It's flat, so it wants to be inverted. I think it's 1 meter. Oh, but it comes up there. Does it? Yeah. So non-inverted corner. there, and then actually an inverted corner on top of it, I think works. Wait a second. Okay, that's there, but the top's not flat because it's going both sides, right? So, oh, I didn't want an inverted corner anyway. Up corner 1 meter. No, I do really want, oh, I want an inverted corner, but if it goes this way, it's no good. Right. We can just go straight like this and call it a day. Inverted, normal. There. Good enough. Back to our transport. Oops. I will say, occasionally if you're trying to spin paths, conveyors, train tracks, etc., occasionally it decides to spin 180 degrees on you. Not sure why that is. But it sure makes it look like the path is just completely invalid until you realize you just need to spin the mouse wheel for quite a while to get back to where you were. So here we're going. See, I think these are actually one of the things that needs nitrogen here. Right? So nitrogen's going to go up here, around here, and back down in there. Because nitrogen also comes in from the north on that side, but it's actually, we're using all the nitrogen that comes in that way. So here, and here's where I didn't really bother making the road wide enough to go both ways. So we'll fix that now. Can I use this cute piece? Are you going to spin around and be correct? I wish I were better at visualizing this in my head. It would help a lot. Yeah, see, that's going down off this direction. That's not the type of down I want. I want the other down, which is called up. That, except it's way too big. It's actually not bad for there. And if we go there, and then like that, and like inverted ramp 1 meter, come on. I want you to go right direction are you actually going? Oh, you want to snap onto that, and I don't want you to do that. See, it wants to go on that edge. Down and under here. Okay, I'll get the top side, which is going to look like that'll help if we have a piece there for it to connect to. Like, right like that. Is that a 2 meter? It looks like it. Right, like that. And is there a quickie fix we can do to the bottom side? I think there's, I think that piece might now fit. Inverted 1 meter corner. Oh, except that's at an angle. That's what's screwing us up, I think. I don't know. I think actually there and then turn it around this way. No. That's what I kind of wanted. And actually then this can go away, that can go away. We can just take this piece and make it a regular foundation. Still looks horrible. Horrible-ish. Inverted corner. Okay, so we're just going to leave that. I'm not going to worry about that. Does that look better if it's just a whole flat down? I mean, it's got problems either way, so that's fine. I think we might be actually just better off getting rid of that. Yeah. See, that was half our problem. Okay. But anyway, now we've got enough room to... See, and this is why, well, in this case, it's going to kind of work out. Now we've got enough room to put our next path segment down around this corner. Yeah, see there. Yeah, see how it turns around and goes back backwards there. And especially like that. And I'm just going to try to go for the middle here like that. Yeah, it wants to snap this path around. Well, this is only one wide either, right? Yeah, so we have to fix that before we make any, just to have enough room for the next path. Zoop. Is that 2? Beautiful on only the second try. And then here, we just want to go out a little bit so that they're not crashing into each other. Actually, you know what? Let's try that again and not get so close to the other track now that we have this to play around with. There. Vehicle collides with terrain. Terrain being everything under. Sometimes I've checked. Terrain actually means production building, but it doesn't there. It's I probably swung out too far on that turn. Yeah. It doesn't like that. So if instead we don't actually go to the brink here, then it's much more happy here, even though it's going to clip that edge. Which we should be able to fix. Inverted corner. Right like that. I think that might even look good from the other underside. Okay, I take that back. It doesn't look good from the other underside. Fine for now again. So straight here, maybe a little bit out. See, and that's where it spins it. And then let's put this whole section in. There. And I want to turn down, but just go this way, because I don't really care, right? This is just a shortcut turnaround if I don't want all the trucks going all the way to one side and the other. So that's coming up here. This one can go to here-ish. Right, like that. And then it's going to go down in this section. And then we'll go around and put that there. Might have to move the conveyor. Up corner 4 here. We'll just keep going down this way. Ramp down to about the same height, which is there. Do a little fixing under here. At least the easy parts where it's just stepped, right? If it's just inverted ramps, that's much easier to deal with. So not there, but yes, here, and headed down this direction. There, and there, and there. And maybe a flat one here. Nope, about like that. And then not worry so much about that, but get rid of this steppy stuff. Actually, right here, this could just all be solid. I want one by one. There we go. Right. So that comes down into there. Pillar here. We're definitely going to need... How tall is this? I think it's just going to be inverted one. Yeah. Yeah, see, there's an attempt there to make a corner that didn't work well either. But that doesn't look horrible. Little stretch time. Little T. And back to work. Yep, turned 180 degrees around on me again. And if I land just short on some of these, it actually works better. Well, except for now, this it doesn't really like. And I think it's mostly because these vehicle paths will collide. So, okay, I want to go around there, and it's going to have to cut this corner. That's the problem. Without getting too close to that. Like that. That's not horrible. That's the trailer moving, right? Because what we really need is a little more room to start turning as we come down. Like right there. And then if this were flat, it would actually help us out a lot. And it's just going to take a little longer, yeah. So a little bit of a flat landing here to be able to make around the corner. And then from there we'll go down. did I just see that turned red? Yeah. See, we've messed up this return path with, I think it's this one right there. I don't think it's that one there. That used to all work. Ah, we'll redraw it. So it's fine going there. That's another thing I've noticed is these paths don't recalculate dynamically as you change the terrain very well, which is kind of understandable. So, I mean, that's a general kind of satisfactory rule. If something breaks, try deleting it and creating it again, right? Turn soup off for a second, put it there. Get rid of a little of the blockiness. There, and then the question is, what happens when I put this one here down? Because right there, that's okay. That's still okay, good. And I'm not going to worry about that complex mess. Oh, I could do, if I just put a half down here, it's going to help. Right, just to make it all line up, maybe. Actually, there's two halves there, so I could just put a corner. On an inverted ramp. Yeah. Just like that for a little bit of a positive effect. And coming in here, this is going to end up needing some room to turn. And another inverted ramp over here. Maybe that works pretty well. It does. Check on the bottom. It's lousy, but okay. Other than we could put a full block there. Right? That goes there, and then there's... Trying to figure out if there's a way to just make plain old flat. They're just plain old flat corners. Up corner, down corner, up corner, up corner, inverted corner, up corner, down corner, inner corner. Why do I not just see normal corners? I don't know. Maybe you're supposed to put an up corner with a down corner. Only problem for another day. I'm gonna have to move this conveyor sooner or later too, because just so that the trucks don't smash into it all the time, but they don't actually mind, so we're not gonna deal with it right now. I don't think it's necessarily liking either my... Is that my conveyor it's trying to hop over? I think it is. I have to scratch that. It doesn't care about that conveyor sitting there. Right? Yeah, it sure does look like it's trying to hop over it. So I can run conveyors through buildings and stuff, but I can't run paths through this conveyor. Got it. So that conveyor goes from there to there. Wonderful little trick. I use delete all the time just to highlight things. You just got to make sure not to hold down right click, right? Because I've just hit right click a little bit. No big deal. So it's coming from back in here somewhere. There it is there. It's sneaking through there. I have never liked that C is right next to V. So it's this one there, 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 there. Okay, so it's coming in from down here. So if instead... Where is it headed off to? There. We can just run it under this whole thing. Right? And you know what? While I'm doing this, this used to all just be spaghetti. I'm trying to get a little better about that. So if we go from here, we can go around this building over here. Like to there. Oh, and I still have that one there. So I can connect to that. If I aim right. And that's there. And then it's this path here, which I can just come out to. Where do I have to go so it doesn't look horrible going through there? About like that. This section, oh, holy cow, that goes all the way out to there, okay. The logistics of these things get complicated. When you start building big enough mega bases, the fastest conveyors aren't even fast enough. So once you have to go past, what is it, 1,200 units per second, you have to start doing parallel routes, which gets ugly quick. But there. I mean, that doesn't look horrible. It's going up there and under there. And then it sneaks into over there. Great. So now let's see if our path works better. Still colliding with the train. Path turns too sharply. I keep turning early. It's one of my other problems. Really just kind of want to go to about maybe there. Right. See, and then I can go around the turn too. Maybe, well, to even like, see, it just turned 180 degrees for no reason. Well, I'm sure there's a reason, but none that makes any sense to me. And then down there. And then here. And what do I want to say? And what did I want to say? Yeah, we want to merge onto that one. We just needed to get down to its level first. So maybe another corner here. I think we're close, folks. I think we're close. There. We change this into a full piece. I might have to bulldoze that production building underneath. In fact, I'm pretty sure I have to. But there's already a conspicuous gap here that used to be a line of these assemblers. What is that? That's a corner that's way too far down. Right. Okay, so my path healed just fine, and that's there. But this guy's gonna have to go. That there, that there. Okay, that's all fixed other than these don't have power. The whole thing about chaining power though is really nice, because otherwise I've got power poles everywhere, including like right. Are you full? No. Got power again. If only. See, this is actually the problem that we're actually solving. So we have these fused modular frames, which end up using nitrogen as well up the line, and we're constantly short on them. So let's see if we can finish off our path. Can I sneak in here, or is it too steep? Yeah, it's not coming anywhere close to fitting. Plan to be on for about an hour. We're in overtime right now, but I do want to get this done. Or at least done enough, right? My goal really is if I can get trucks following the new path, I'm happy. Collides with train, collides with train, collides with train. I don't know whether it doesn't like Maybe it just doesn't like that down corner. Either that or we've got another, either that or it's this and we have another conveyor we've got to move. One of the two. Yeah. See, I don't think it likes that conveyor. Where was that? Ah. But it doesn't mind kind of going over that bump. So see if we go like this. Can I then just merge? It turns too sharply at the end. Right, okay. So going around the corner and merging is a little too much to ask all in one go. Oh, and that guy might be a problem too. We'll see. But let's see here. I can get it to go. See, I'm going to be complaining about the 180-degree thing forever. It's just, unfortunately, something that's going to happen. And I can't go there, but if I go and line up for it like that. Aha! Oops. Look at it for a second. Beautiful. Now they can go up there, around, over to the refinery, down here, and back to there. And if they only want to go halfway, they can come around this loop. And I'm really not so concerned if they want to go out just to the refinery and come back here. I mean, eventually I can make this really complicated and have some sort of loop from here to here or whatever, but this whole production above it is kind of in the way, and yeah, all that stuff. So let's now go find a truck. Preferably number 1. Where are you? Up there. Okay, so you're 1, you're 2, and you're 3. Well, preferably number 3, because I'll rename him. So we're looking for the last truck in the series, the one that's still on the way there. If I thought about it, I could have just caught a train over there. But then I'd have to wait for the train to show up and whatever, right? See, there's multiple train track options if I wanted to get over there. In fact, there's a train I could have caught. But here's the, right, and we're looking for number 3, which is that guy. So 3 is the one on the left-hand side of the station right now. It's currently filling. Right. And goes down over here. Here's the nitrogen station over here. And here's the truck we want to mess with. Right, so I'm going to open his menu. Instead of just nitrogen truck 3, I mean, how do I say full route here? with trains and whatever, I've half of them I think are product and location, and half of them are location and product, which is another of those things I should just learn not to worry about. Oh, so now that he's got a better name, we'll check his paths. He's going to Mineral 1, then to Mineral 2. Right, see, this is product and then station, and here's station and then product. Should probably rename these, whatever. But here's the nitrogen refinery. So actually, after we go to the second one, we want to go out to the refinery. Which is actually, do I really want to do that now that I think about it? Because it's going to fill up, and it's going to go all the way back to the mineral base and not fill anything. But the alternative would be kind of, we'd really want to go off and loop there, but then we're basically making two routes and not sharing trucks. So this will kind of be our overflow, just make sure everything gets everywhere truck. And as I was talking like an hour ago or whatever, I think it's actually at the mineral base over to the north, where they all get coal, and they get plenty of coal to go all the way around. See what we end up down. Okay, so it ends up dropping off. Right. So right, it still has a significant amount of nitrogen. We're just going to go out there, fill up with some from the refinery, which is mostly going to be enough bandwidth for expansion. And then if this can get all the way back to the first base, we were done with this episode. Goal achieved, right? So let's just I'm actually too old to have model trains. Well, I guess I'm not. There's probably plenty of people who have model trains in their basement. But instead of model trains, I just have virtual trains. And I actually enjoy just riding around on my trains, or riding around on my trucks. I can do that too. But we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't crash going down the whole hill. But I think if the routes are good, I don't think they actually do fall off the tracks. So around by the really long ladder, that's maintenance access. This is the other thing. If you notice how the waterfall and the gas was kind of flashing there. This is actually it's a GeForce 5000 series sitting on the computer, but a lot of the kind of haze effects are computationally expensive when it's got this many buildings wandering around. So the distance at which they render does kind of flicker. You'll see this too, is all these refiners are actually working. It just doesn't have the polygons or whatever to render them until we get really, really close to them. But let's pull up this and see if this completely fills up, and also see if we have enough coal to make it all the way back. And or what are we sitting here waiting for? Well, this is unexpected. Why are you not moving? Looks fine there, looks fine there. Speed 0. It's got enough coal. It says that route is green. Is it because it doesn't think you can get to the station? Path. Coal per trip, that's fine. Autopilot's on. Available stations, current route. It doesn't really have a next station listed. Vehicle path, automated. Why would this not be working? If I had to guess, it's that corner down there. This one that it's getting clipped a little by. So if we just add a little extra support in here, does this help? Oh, no. I think we're in delete and rebuild mode, folks. So turn the routes on. Yeah, see there's a little route there, and okay, so it's this tiny little route. That I bet is our little problem here. If I take that route out there, take that route there. What if I just try one longer route? Like that. Oh, sure enough. When in doubt, delete and rebuild. I don't know why that came up as green as opposed to blue. I would have thought green was good. Apparently not. So now we make it to the station. We fill up. It's going to then go all the way around to minerals where it's not going to fill up because it's, I'll show you what I mean, because you probably don't have this map memorized, but right, we're down here. It's going to go all the way up around to where these guys are refueling, but it's already topped off. It's going to come back here, but it will top off this base, and as I said, give us more nitrogen than I need, so that then I can continue to expand our little coupon machine. I'll quick run over there. We'll check the coupons, and then we're going to call this episode wrap. I just wanted to kind of, I didn't, on the open, I did mention the coupons, but I didn't explain exactly what we were doing with them. So, we'll come across here. The main coupon base is right about in there, if I remember correctly. Well, maybe not quite. That might be a little high. I think it's this sign right here that I'm aiming for now. Which also at this size, signs that label things are invaluable. Right. Overkill control. Because there's something, these are all producing ballistic warp drives, and then just tossing them in and getting coupons for them, thus overkill, right? It's doing 30 million points per minute, which is actually a little bit on the low side, but we can pick up our 23 coupons. This goes up to around, there must be some sort of supply problem. I think it goes up to around 50 points per minute when it's completely running on all cylinders. So I'll just go over here, dump some of my extra stuff in recycling that I picked up when I destroyed stuff. And either thank you all for watching live, or if you're on YouTube watching the recording, thank you for that. I don't know if there's going to be an episode 4 to the nitrogen superhighway, because I think that's going to be that would be mostly cosmetic, and I don't know that we need to do that. So I will let you know what's coming in the future.